we're talking a little bit about some of the common mistakes communities make in terms of tourism. Tourism is very important for communities to look at. It's been growing at 6.5% a year since 1950, which means it basically doubles every 11 years. 1 in 10 jobs globally is created by tourism. It's important for communities to recognize some of the things that they can do to enhance tourism. We've got a tool called Tourism 360, which helps you self-assess. We can also come in and help you do a fairly comprehensive tourism review to really maximize your tourism assets. So here are some of the mistakes we see communities often making. There's nothing to do after 6 p.m. 70% of tourism funding or tourism spending happens after 6 p.m. That's restaurants, stores, etc. Do you have pedestrian-friendly streets that people can wander around or tourists can wander around and spend their money at? It's really important to look at this as a community and to strategically plan and to implement some solutions. Number 2, there's no knowledge by locals of local amenities and experiences. And again, there are many things in communities that people are unaware of. It could be the number of people you've exported to the NHL. It could be a local swimming hole. It could be a number of really good restaurants or great bookshops in town. Communities are looking for authentic experiences, and there's nobody better than locals to know what's going on in your community. If you can have some sort of a program that really encourages locals to learn, your community will be much better off in terms of enhancing tourism. Number 3, there are no regional packages, clusters, partnerships, and itineraries. No one community, save Paris, has the Eiffel Tower, but you probably have a lot of really interesting amenities within your region. And it's important, again, to look at clustering, to look at packaging, to look at partnering with others so that people, when they're traveling, have many things to do. They just don't come for one thing, but if you've got 5, 6 things, 7 things, it can be an itinerary that's really attractive to the tourist. Number 4, poor internet and social media presence. Well, people, 70–80% of tourists are now looking at TripAdvisor. They look to Facebook for recommendations from their friends. They look to Twitter. They look to Foursquare and other social media outlets in order to find out and get recommendations on where to go and what amenities to take advantage of. If your community isn't doing this or isn't doing it well, you're going to suffer in the long term. And there's some really simple and effective solutions you can look at. Number 5, no brand. A brand isn't necessarily a logo or a slogan. A brand is what people think your community or you represent, and that's really important. When they think of your name, your community name, what comes to mind? Many communities have very generic brands that don't say anything, that could be exchanged with a community down the road and nobody would know any different. It's really important to effectively communicate your brand. Number 6, thinking of tourism as separate from community vitality. Now, I mentioned tourists really want authentic experiences, and it's really important that they have the feeling that they're wandering around streets where people are excited, where there's a sense of energy and enthusiasm, and they're seeing things that are real as opposed to a storefront that looks like a facade. It's really important, again, to know and to make sure that the experience is really reflective of the authentic you in your community. Number 7, no focus on experiences. And again, people don't want to come for a tourism product or something that they buy. That's traditionally what tourism has been made up of. Let's buy something. It's what they remember, and that's the experience. And it's important for communities to recognize these, to package them, and to, again, acknowledge that tourists really want an experience that they can talk about, they can brag about, they can tell stories about when they get home and tell their friends, so that they come back to your community year in and year out. These are some things that you might want to think of in considering maximizing tourism experiences for your visitors.